Ladies and gentlemen, I am your planetary defense commander, Star-Lord New Thor 7, the T, and I am a Norse Christian Jedi who has spent the last few years trying to understand astrology, because I definitely believe the planets and their relation to each other, their vibrations, their frequency, and their energy affect us all. And so somehow, if you have a problem with that, definitely don't watch this video, because I don't have enough emotional energy to deal with everybody else's baggage. All right. And so I'm just here letting you know and doing what I can to get you mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually prepared to deal with everything we're going to have to deal with between now and March of 2021. That's what I'm saying. It's not exactly fantastic news that I'm giving to you guys. As we know, we have all the planets on the same side of the sun except for Mercury, who's now spun around. And so we have a grand conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn on December 21st, 2020. And I think the big factor in all of this is where these two planets meet every 20 years, Jupiter and Saturn, they are hanging out with Pluto, right? And so Pluto is the really kind of the adding all the extra death, destruction, energy to everything that we've been dealing with. And so, I have reason to believe that, yeah, buckle up, dude, because it is just we're going to watch capitalism, communism, socialism pretty much partially, totally fall apart in front of our eyes, at least for about another year. Super duper special shout out to the Astrology Podcast. That is the name of, I believe, the astrologers that I was watching and have started watching over the last month. They seem really good, and they provided me with this excellent chart that I can show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, right? And like I said, I don't like politics at all. So none of the crap that's going on politically affects me. Now, I spent pretty much all of 2019 trying to warn you guys about this Saturn conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, just because my Jedi sense detected it. The LeoKing had been talking about it for 7 years, Astrolada. And so this is pretty much when we found out that the coronavirus had popped on Earth. And this is one of the reasons that I've always believed that it's real, because it is like a manifestation of what we've done for the last 7.5 years as human beings and the choices we've made. And anytime you get Saturn and Pluto together that close, nasty shit happens, And so I want everyone to point out, so this is when the virus really became the big story at the very beginning, pretty much exactly when Saturn went conjunct Pluto. And now that Saturn is retrograding, Saturn is retrograding almost all the way back to within 3 degrees of that Saturn conjunct Pluto. And so one of the things I've been saying in my live casts is for the next 50 days, so we are pretty much here. We're right here, baby. So for the next 50 days, be prepared for September and October and November to be pretty much the 3 worst months of the year. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just trying to get everybody ready for the party in 2022. But we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of good choices to make. Because the major things we're going to see, so it's for the next 50 days, it is going to be like Mars and Saturn and Jupiter and even Pluto in many ways are going to come be roommates with you in your house, in your apartment, or in your RV. Wherever you live, you're going to have the uncomfortable energies of Mars, which is like war, Saturn, which is like government constructs, and then Pluto, which is like death and Hades in the underworld, all in your apartment with you at all times. And so we are going to be leading up to the official Mars Saturn square, which happens on the 24th, but then it kind of repeats itself multiple times until pretty much November, till the election. And so But the big thing I'm watching here is that, like, look at this little curve is death, man. Right? And so this is the Saturn conjunct Pluto aspect of it. And so, and it's no surprise that we have totally, in my mind, bungled the response to the virus and the going back to school. I mean, whether it be extending the unemployment benefits, so during this pandemic, families could buy their kids school supplies and get everything ready for whatever they needed to do. I made a bunch of videos asking them to extend the unemployment benefits. They did not do that. Right now, they still have not done it. But there will probably be a second coronavirus package. But I'm all for doing what we can to make sure that people are fed, stay in their homes, don't lose their electricity, have some water, and the internet for the rest of 2020 and even through the middle of 2021. Because I have a fear that as it gets colder, the virus is going to get more potent. Now, yes, sure, it only kills like 0.4% of all people it infects, but still in America, that would be, after a year and a half, that would be over possibly 1 million people. And so I'm not prepared as Planetary Defense Commander to lose 1 million people, and I'm unhappy with the numbers we've lost already. Yeah, I would recommend wearing a mask, but that's become such a political standpoint. I'm just tired of kind of talking about it because I get a bunch of people yelling at me. And look, you're allowed to believe whatever you want to believe, and as Planetary Defense Commander, I'm going to do whatever I can to give you guys the best information. And no, I don't think wearing a mask hurts you at all in any way, shape, or form. But that is neither here nor there. But I'm just showing here that, so we are going to watch, from now, it is going to be a total FUBAR shit show between August, September, October, November. And we are going to just see deaths go up. And so regardless of how deaths got counted or for what cause, deaths are up in the United States anywhere from 6 to 12% this year over normal year averages. And so we're watching, like I said, we're watching like the entire empire of the last 100 years, of the last 1,000 years, kind of crumbling before our eyes. Before, like I was saying, that one of the most amazing things to me is that both Jupiter and Saturn are in Capricorn, which is very kind of a militant taskmaster. Technically, Saturn has been associated with Satan in some aspects, or Saturn was the dark sun. And so it has definitely some creepy aspects that are not enjoyable. And so you have Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto, I believe, in Capricorn. So like in one of the most uncomfortable houses and places they can be. And yes, this energy is extremely uncomfortable. And so Jupiter and Saturn, who are in Capricorn together, are leaving Capricorn on the 21st and the 20th. And so they're going into Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of the future and the sign of the people. And so it is no surprise to me that we're dealing with all of the old mistakes and bad habits of the last 1,000 years here together as Earthlings. And so definitely and then Pluto doesn't leave Capricorn until 2022. And then it goes into Aquarius. So the idea that you have two big planets going into Aquarius, which is the future, at the same time at the end of this year is a big deal. And so we all need to be mentally, physically, and spiritually prepared to watch pretty much all the old structures crumbling before our eyes. And so that is what is happening. And to me, like I said, this chart kind of shows, when I've been talking about the war of the planets, that this is like this period between, like we are about to enter here. This will happen August 24th, right here. This is August 24th. So that will be like our first point, and we will watch out for kind of on the 24th. And remember, that's the day that we will probably start having hurricanes headed our way. There's another reason why I want everybody on super high red alert. And so we're going to have these uncomfortable points happening consistently through all of September, and then October's not exactly going to be a fun party either. And that it really doesn't start to calm down. Jupiter, even the astrology has been so anomalously weird and strange. Like usually Mars stays in Aries. Mars and Aries both represent war for, I don't know, a month to 6 weeks. Because of all the weird astrological stuff, Mars is in Aries for 6 months this year, pretty much to the end of the year. And so it's like we are all on war footing, and we are all emotionally charged to fight, argue, not get along right now. I feel that. Do you feel that? And so with all this anomalous, with Jupiter going backwards, Jupiter will be conjuncting Saturn for the third time, I think in November or December, I forget. And so, yeah, dude, we are definitely looking at uncomfortable energies, and that will probably end about March. And so definitely hang on for dear life, you know. It has been rough, and like I said, this is the 2020, and thanks again to the Astrology Podcast people. This kind of lays it out for, and if you'll notice, like we say, we had a bit of a break from. I remember, to me, like March was one of the most stressful months for me. Right here, it was so stressful leading up until we got into lockdown, and then there was a lull. But dude, it is about to just get super duper rough. You got October surprises in there. You got a bunch of crazy shit that's gonna be happening, and it is like, hey man, we're gonna be hanging out and best buddies with Saturn, with Mars, with Pluto for the next 3 months. And so I'm just trying to let everybody know that, when I give like crazy alerts or put timetable dates on them. And look, dude, I don't know. Pluto, is it a neutron star? What is Pluto? I don't even know. Is it a planet, not a planet? Is it a comet? I don't know, dude, but it definitely represents like a darker underworld. Another interesting thing is that like every single culture for thousands of years has always associated Mars with war. I learned last night in the Astrological Podcast that the original Egyptian symbol for Mars was a knife. But a knife can be a tool or a weapon. And then Mars goes retrograde on the 9th of September. And so I think, when that happens, a lot of the war-based people, or the people who associate with Mars the most energetically, they're going to have some difficult times. Although they will fight dirtier, and they will get meaner, and they will give up all the rules of combat and engagement to try and get whatever their way is. And so, I'm just letting everybody know. That's why, I do believe we're going to have a fantastic party in the year 2022. And that, so for the next year and a half, we are kind of in Space Force Asteroid Fight Club super graduate school. And that I love you, I have faith in you, and I want you to be there with me when we all get to better times and civilization and society begins to progress forward again, as it seems like we are retrograding through all the problems and mistakes that have ever been made throughout history. I hope I did that well, said it well. But like I said, I really appreciate this chart because it just kind of shows in a graphic sense why I'm just everybody. That's why, definitely through September and October, I'm going to be doing playing the best defense as smart as I can right now. I'm not going to take any dumb chances. Although I would take, like I said, if the most beautiful, talented, smart, cool girl just showed up in my door and was like, hey, let's run around the planet, I'd be like, okay, maybe. Take calculated risks, sure. But, it wouldn't be protesting. It wouldn't be looting. It wouldn't be going to rallies. I wouldn't be hanging out in large groups of people I did not know. I'll take chances with friends and family that I love and respect and I know are smart. But, yeah, for the next 3 months, it is going to be on like Donkey Kong, and every group, every layer, every sector is fighting. He's going to be fighting and trying to make the most amount of money and deceiving other people so that they can get whatever they want. So I'm just asking everyone to stay cool, be smart, and just kind of be emotionally ready that we're not going to return to any sense of what we know as normal until after at least March of next year. And that's so the end, like, for example, last night from like 8 p.m. to I fell asleep this morning at like 6 a.m. I felt like I was dying. Like I felt like I was just getting hit by a death ray, and it was causing pain mentally, physically, couldn't concentrate. Oh, and it turns out that planet Eris, I was talking about, who represents discord and unhappiness, was conjunct Mars exactly. And so that made sense. Anyway, that energy's over. Happy Leo new moon. I love everyone, although it's difficult at times. And so let us all make it through together through better days. And I'm a Sagittarius Capricorn, Gemini. And so technically, I've been having a Saturn transit for 5.5 years, where Saturn went through Sagittarius, and then Saturn is now going through my Capricorn. And so Saturn has been kicking my ass for 5.5 years. And Saturn will not be done kicking my ass until December. So I may not get to have a lot of fun. I may not get to kiss a pretty lady again. I may not, I may be stuck in the damn foxhole, which I'm sick of, by the way, until December. But I have known that for 5.5 years that I may work my ass off and not get any major awards or accolades or good times or fun drives or until this shit is over. But we're now about 4 months away from that happening, and I've made it through the 5.5 years. So, we can endure, and that the universe and our solar system is just setting us all up and preparing us all for better days if we survive. And we make good choices. Anyway, thanks to everybody out there. And like I said, I don't know, man, I respect whatever, there's nothing more personal than any one individual's belief in God. And so I respect your right to believe whatever that you want to believe. Whether it be like comes the Big Bang. You got people like, I know exactly what happened 8 billion years ago. No, you don't, man. We're all trying to figure it out. And so we definitely have to get back to a place where people respect other people's views, and we do not allow the ancient archaic system to force us into binary red or blue, choose one of the other choices, because it'd be good to have creativity and imagination come back and respect for each other, because I do love y'all, because Jesus Christ is my King of Kings, and he was the Prince of Peace, and he loved me and forgave me. And so we're definitely going to need a lot more love and a lot more forgiveness to make it through all of this shit, but to recognize that God is great and is the divine architect that did create our solar system, our universe, and the life which we live and love. But that's probably a discussion for another day. All right, but yeah, it's going to be brutal in many ways. Stay cool, make it through, and then I'll give you the best hug you've ever had in 2022, and we will party, and we will deserve to. All right, God bless everyone. Stay cool.